Hello everyone, it is I, Icarus. We're back with another amazing episode of Know Your Geometry Dash Mod. In this episode, we have Zircone, and I'm excited for this one. Most likely, I'm excited for all of them, let's be real, but this is another fun episode because, another mod. Zircone, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty swell. I recorded Know Your Mod earlier today, so I'm in full swing. I got the not the what's it called, the script. Not there's no script, but I'm set. I'm set. I'm ready.
All right, let's get this going.
All right. So how did you find out about Geometry Dash? Because that's what this is about, kind of.
Honestly, this is a throwback. So, like, back in the day, like 2015, like, I had a in real life friend, and what we would usually do is, like, we just, like, randomly get games on the App Store, like, just free games, and just, like, compete against each other, like, just who can get the farthest, who can get the highest score, and that kind of stuff. So, one day, he just found Geometry Dash, the light version, and obviously I didn't think much of it. I just downloaded it, played it, got pretty far in it, honestly, and it stuck with me. I don't know what it was. I think when I saw the full version, I think when you open the game, you can see like the full version, like it says like something about it, like oh you can like create and stuff like that. Like if you get the
Yeah,
full
like
version.
I think it says like more levels here or something. It's been a while since I've been on that version. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years, bro. I don't remember what it exactly said, but I saw that and something about me. I always envisioned myself wanting to like make levels and that kind of stuff. Like not just in Geometry Dash, but like in general. So like having the opportunity to try that, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go try it. And 6 years later, here I am.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's cool. That a lot of people kind of had that thing when they just want to make their own level, make it custom. So that's kind of cool. So when did you first discover the editor after you like bought the full version, or what drew you into the editor?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. It's just the editor itself. Like I got like when I first got the full version, the editor was like the first thing I tried.
Yeah, that's cool. I think a lot of people were like that. I mean, obviously, when people get the full version, they kind of like check out some of the user-made levels, and then they're like, "Yo, we can build some levels," and then some people stick with it, and clearly you were one of them. So, like, when you started to first build, were there any creators that you were inspired by or that you wanted to be like?
So when I first joined, it was like 1.9. I remember that. But if I'm being honest, I wasn't like involved like in any community because obviously there was like no communities back like 1.9. I mean there was like some stuff. I was a part of like a Google Plus type of thing, and honestly it was like kind of active, but not like as active as the Discord stuff is nowadays. But honestly, I barely even checked out like the user levels. I mostly like just built for fun. I completed the main levels or tried to complete the main levels as much as I could. So I really didn't like check much about the user made levels until like 2.0. And in 2.0, that's when I started to get more familiar with it. And if I'm being honest, one creator that stuck with me was actually Jacob Rosso. And that's one creator I found out in like 2.0. I actually met him on Google Plus.
That's
So I
kind of
met
cool.
him. Yeah, I met him, and I honestly, such a cool guy. Like, I talked to him a couple times. I didn't really like have like full one-on-one conversations and that kind of stuff. And he kind of knew who I was, but not really. But honestly, something about his style, especially like in 2.1, there's something about his like simplicity as well as his color and that kind of stuff. It
Yeah,
just
like
really, really appeals to me.
yeah, Jake Rosso. He created the Behemoth, I believe, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I know with Jacob levels, they're often like super like smooth and polished, but like, not clustered but still looking good. So is that something you try to do with your levels too? Because I'm gonna be completely honest, I haven't played many of your levels, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say that since I have you on the show. But like,
Nah, don't worry about it, bro. No, I'm gonna be honest. My levels aren't like that out there. There's like nothing about them is very special. They're just like the typical like sometimes modern levels I do. I try to do art as well, but like there's nothing like really stand out about them, so it's all good. But I do kind of try to incorporate some stuff in like Jacob Rosso that he does like that clean style, like kind of like a clean look to the levels without like trying to like overwhelm them with like decoration that kind of stuff. I try to do that. Sometimes it comes off okay, other times it comes off way too empty, and that's definitely something. That's a criticism I've gotten a lot, like over like the past like almost 6 years of creating a song. The biggest criticism I always get is like a lot of the levels I put out are very empty, and a lot of them are very underdeveloped. It's just that I can't really like get that polish that Jacob Rosso has, where like you can make a clean look to it and not make it look too empty.
yeah, that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I don't think that's just you because like for me, it's kind of like the opposite problem when I build levels, because like mine are like also like try to be like Jacob Rosso. I actually started making level that was inspired by him, and everything I made was just like too clustered, and I was like, yeah, this ain't happening.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Yeah, creator struggles, but that's cool. So, when did you get your first creator points?
It took me a while, honestly. It took me 3 years. So I had two accounts. I had one that I used like from like 1.9 to like 2.0. And then like late 2.0, I don't know why, I just like switched over to a second account. And on that second account, I didn't get my first creator point until like 2018. So like I'd say around 3 years of like creating. Because I created like throughout that whole entire 3 year span. So it took me 3 years to get a rate. And then it took me 4 years to get a feature.
Dang, oh that. I mean, that's still less time than it took me, but still, that's a while. But like
Yeah,
that,
I was stuck on one creator point for like a year and like 2 months or something like that. It sucked.
yeah, I feel you. I mean, obviously, I haven't been stuck on creator points for that long. I've been stuck on like 6 creator points for like the entirety of this year, but a whole year at one creator point. Dang. But
Yeah.
were you still building levels throughout the time, or were you just like just messing around, trying out new things?
So I think within that year span, I think I put out a couple levels, like not too many. I think it was like two or three. But the thing with me is that I find that sometimes after I create something, I usually get like really, really demotivated. It's not that like, oh, like I don't want to stop building altogether. It's just like once you complete something, it's kind of like that feeling like, oh, I'm done, but now what? And you just have like that little period where you just like don't really feel like building anything for some reason. I've always had that with levels, and sometimes as well I just like took breaks as well, where I just just did like nothing. And honestly, because of that, I don't put out that many levels. So I think I put out a couple before I eventually got a feature. But the ironic part is the one level I got featured was literally a level I made in like 4 hours. Like I literally started like from like 9 in the night and like ended like 3 in the morning. Like I took breaks obviously, but like 4 hours of building and I got a first feature out of it. So
Yeah, that's cool. So you were modded recently, and I think I read this in the About You, and I can't remember where it was. It not About You on Discord, but like it was in some server where you're like, hey, I'm a new mod. This is a little bit about me. I believe you said you actually started like reviewing levels, trying out for mod recently. So like what I'm trying to say is, when did you start like enjoy giving feedback to people, or if you've always enjoyed giving feedback to people, or if this was just like, yeah, this is actually quite enjoyable, or if it's something new that you started.
So here's the thing. In 2017, I think I put this on Twitter too, like when I got mod. So I put out in 2017, I learned about the mod system, and I started out learning about that stuff like with Squall and Pause, when Squall and Pause were like popping off in like 2017. And from there, I was familiar with like the mod system and how it worked, and like how how they send levels to Rob and that kind of stuff. And there's something about me where just like like you just have like that dream, but you feel like this is never gonna happen, but it's something that it would be so cool if it did.
Yeah.
So that happened for me during 2017. And obviously, I was like a nobody. I had no creator points, literally no community interaction. Nobody knew who I was. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm probably never going to get mod, but oh well, it'd be so cool if it did happen. In 2018, I got my first rate. And then I started a series on my YouTube. It was called Helping Hand. The whole point of that was basically just like try to give feedback, in which the community nowadays, like, they do reviews and that kind of stuff. So that was like my goal in a way. I just want to like give reviews and that kind of stuff to like levels that people submit me. Obviously, I didn't get that many levels to me, so it was kind of a struggle at first. So 2018, I tried to do that, but then afterwards, in 2019, my goal was to get a feature. Obviously, I achieved that, but my goal then wasn't like to like give feedback. I just wanted to get a feature because I wanted to get that off the bucket list pretty much. And then afterwards, in 2020, something clicked in me. I just missed giving feedback because when I did do it in 2018, I enjoyed it. So in 2020, I basically just just went all out with giving reviews, or like just trying as much as I could to like just be active on Discord and just giving reviews in like either servers, YouTube, wherever.
Yeah.
And I did that for a point. And obviously, in the back of my mind, I always had that dream, like, okay, now I'm doing all this stuff. I'm in like a whole bunch of mod servers, whole bunch of like servers in general, just giving reviews, trying to give feedback as much as I could. And then I always had that thing like, maybe I could get modded one day if I keep working at this. And then obviously you know about the Viper tweet in November around that.
Yeah.
So after that tweet, I was kind of like, well,
It's
shit,
all
I'm
over.
screwed. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of screwed now. So I'm not gonna lie here. I got really demotivated. I was like, I thought it was kind of like Endgame, and that was like, it was gonna basically be like no more mods. So when that happened, I basically took like a 4 month break, and then I came back around like a month after like the wave right after November. Like I think it was like the Dust Earth wave. It was like, yeah, I think it was like in March. So
Yeah.
yeah, after that happened, I started getting back into Discord, and with the semester pretty much over, I was getting more active on Discord overall. So then I wanted to get back into reviewing, just like more because it was fun than anything. I just wanted to get back into reviewing, and I did. And eventually, I got promoted to reviewer in Vibrant server, and now I'm moderator. So
And once you
it's
get
been a long
promoted
journey,
in
man.
Vibrant server, I mean, who said that? But
So
but yeah, you. I saw you. You're a viewer in lot servers because like when I first noticed who you were reviewing levels in the Creator Point server, which I'm fairly active in. I was like, hey, this guy's a reviewer everywhere. That's kind of cool. And yeah, but Vibrant took a 180 on that tweet that he said about no more mods because now there's like this whole mod application form kind of thing that.
honestly, I'm so glad about that. I'm glad that well, not only just because I got mod, but like a whole bunch of cool people have gotten mod. And I, like, even like back then in 2020, like obviously I wanted myself to get promoted, but there was definitely like a whole bunch of people that I wanted to get promoted. A lot of them like Spark, who got promoted, Sparks Omega, Dust Earth. There's a couple others as well, but like a whole and Rust there too. Like a whole bunch of people that I wanted to get mod for a long time, and when that tweet hit, I was kind of like, not just for me, but for others as well. Like, this is it. What are we gonna do? So yeah, at that point, I was kind of like, it gives me a little bit of like sympathy for like everybody when that happened. But at the same time, I was like, where are we gonna go from here? Are we ever gonna get mods like in 2.2 or like in any other updates, or is it just gonna be like, this is it? This last mod wave is like kind of game over.
Yeah, well, that's true, but at least people are like getting modded again because like as I said that review form, I even filled out that form to hopefully be mod one day because I think that would be kind of cool. Obviously, like we all have our different review styles and stuff like that, but I have yet to ask you about what you like in levels. So since you're a mod and people want to know what you like and what you don't, what do you want to see more of in levels?
This is a hard question for me, but honestly, the big thing that really like gets me going with the level is like the color usage. Like a lot of the times when I see levels, a lot of the times the colors are either like very poorly executed in terms of like they use like a whole bunch of colors and just like try to fit it in all in like one part or like try to fit it in throughout the level, and like it doesn't really feel like the level has much of a color variety point in terms of like trying to like implement colors together and try to make them look good, like work together. I feel like more people like try like, especially modern levels, I feel like a lot of people just put whatever colors just to put whatever colors. And that kind of thing just like gets me because I really like to see colors executed quite well. And when it does, and when they are executed really well, I'm more inclined to send something than if like the colors are either bland, monochrome. I don't like saying that, but monochrome or all over the place.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I remember because you even, when I sent you my level charged vitality, you're like, I really enjoy the colors in this part. Because, like, I remember it was, like, super colorful and stuff. But, yeah, it all makes sense now. But, yeah. But, so I'm going to ask the opposite of that question. What is something you want to see less of in levels, if anything?
Oh, this one's hard. It's not really like something specific that turns me off. Oh, no. Not in that way. I worded that person. I worded it up so badly. Oh man. So the one thing that I don't like seeing in levels is basically it's like a couple things. One of them is like repetitive stuff, and what I mean by repetitive stuff, like obviously repetition isn't like the worst thing in the world, but like when you see something that looks exactly the same from like beginning to end, it just like there's no progression, and it just feels like what was the point of playing it if it's like just the exact same design, maybe like changing some colors a little bit. Like a lot of the stuff that I've seen, especially as a mod, it's just like very, very repetitive to the point where it just feels boring to me. like both playing it and looking at it. So that's one thing I don't like. Obviously, one of my biggest criticisms too is incorrect 3D, which surprisingly I still see quite a lot of in some levels. Incorrect 3D for me is just no. I'll look at it, it just frustrates me somehow, and I just won't even continue with the level. I'll just stop right there.
Yeah, that's fair. So you like a splash of variety, I see.
Honestly, I do. And
Yeah.
obviously, like when I mean variety, like it does have to like fit together. Like I do like designs that like are varied, but like try like work together throughout the entire level. And that's kind of like why I don't like some mega collabs, because a lot of the times they are varied, but the variation is so bad where the parts literally look like they don't belong together.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That's fair because, like, I know like flowing connection. It puts a level together because otherwise it'll look like a bunch of levels that are like, I mean, I'm about to word this really badly, but like, it feels like a bunch of creators coming together with different styles. It doesn't feel like a real level. It just feels like a dysfunctional collab in a way.
Yeah, I get you what you mean, definitely.
Yeah. So, do you value gameplay or decoration more? Because obviously both are important, and there's multiple mods have said multiple different things. So obviously, I would like to hear your take on this.
So I've actually seen some of the Know Your Mod episodes. I think I saw Gus's. I think Gus said that he likes design more, like, visuals and that kind of stuff. And to some extent, I definitely do agree with that. For some reason, for me, visuals can make up for bad gameplay. Well, not really like bad gameplay, but like, nothing innovative
Yeah.
about it. Like if a gameplay is like okay, like decent enough, and the visuals are nice, I'll probably send it. But at the same idea, if you have bad gameplay, no matter how good your visuals are, it's just an unenjoyable experience. So definitely, I do like visuals, and I definitely do like seeing like some really cool designs. And I will probably still send even if the gameplay is like, you know, garbage
Mediocre.
or like bad or mediocre too as well. Like I'll probably send it like even for like a rate or something. But if the gameplay is just bad, I'm probably more inclined to not send it because it's a level. If you're playing a level, you want to have an enjoyable experience, either visually or like playability wise. If you're playing a level and it's just frustrating or just like boring, it just takes away a lot from the level. And I don't think to some extent visuals can't really pair well if you have something that's not enjoyable to play as a whole.
Yeah, that's very true. So I think that will end the Geometry Dash portion of this. Now, outside of Geometry Dash, what kind of games do you play, if any?
So I don't really play too many games, but I do have a Nintendo Switch, so sometimes I do play some games on that. One of the things I was trying, I think I mentioned this in the GDS server, I was trying to beat Champions Road on Super Mario 3D World. I still haven't beaten it yet. I do want to beat it eventually, but that's probably like one of the biggest things. Otherwise, other than that, I just play usually casual games. I think the most I invested into a game is probably Geometry Dash. I have not like put too much time to like any other game besides this.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same with that page. Like, Geometry Dash takes way more hours out of any other game than I play, but yeah. Now, outside of video games, do you have any hobbies? I heard you're a soccer enjoyer.
So yes, I obviously you can tell by my profile picture. I love watching soccer, and that's something that I actually haven't done too much, which surprisingly, I actually just got into it like a little bit after the World Cup, like the most recent one. So before I found it very boring, which is ironic compared to now because I love it now. But like before, I just something about like 90 minutes of just people kicking a ball just didn't really appeal to me as a young age. But like after a while, I just started watching it and getting more invested. Obviously now I have a team that I support, Manchester City, so I have more of a reason to actually want to watch it. But before I was just like, man, this is kind of boring. But there's something about sports in general. Like obviously, like the premise of sports isn't like very interesting from a overall like logistical point of view. Like oh they're just throwing a ball into a hoop, oh they're just kicking a ball, oh they're just swimming in a pool. Obviously, there's like not much of a interesting value there. But like when you have like a passion for it, or you just like feel connected in a way to it, you start to appreciate it more. And I feel like with the World Cup too, like being passionate for your country or just like for a team in general, it gives you more of an appreciation of the sport as a whole. And that's why nowadays I love watching soccer. And I definitely want to watch more sports too. I actually want to watch basketball. I don't know much about it, but I definitely want to watch it.
Yeah, I can understand that because like, did you play soccer and get into it that way? Because I know sometimes like when people play a sport, they get into it later. Like when I did when I I remember this is a kind of an awkward story on my part, but like I was back in gym a long time ago. This is like eighth grade, so that'd be like 4 or 5 years, I don't know, a while ago. There was like floor hockey, and then I was like, whoa, this is kind of fun. And then I started watching real hockey. Was it kind of like that, or was it just like I'm gonna check this out and see how it is, and you're like, yo, this is lit, or
It's more one of those things like I did do it like when I was like 6 years old. Honestly, there's something about it. I just when I was very young, I was lazy. Like I was everything like that required me to do like any little bit of exercise or anything in particular. I didn't like it. I just liked playing games and just doing absolutely nothing. And I really regret that because I feel like I would have enjoyed like playing soccer. Like nowadays, like I obviously I try to do stuff, but I suck. I'm like 20 years old and I want to play soccer, and I'm just trying to learn some stuff. I can barely dribble a ball, honestly. But yeah, I really wish I learned at like a young age, or I kept doing it. But what really got me into soccer was the World Cup. Like my family was really invested in it because like pretty much everyone but my family, where my family all watched it except for me. Like everyone was like invested in soccer at like one point. So when the World Cup came along, I was like, you know what, screw it. It's on TV. Everyone's watching it. I might as well just try to get into it. And then there's actually some really good games there. I don't know if you watched it, but like one of the games I really loved was France versus Argentina. Such a really good game. It was so intense, like the whole 90 minutes throughout. And that stuff like that started making me think, you know what, this actually isn't that boring. It's like there's matches like this that happen like just overall like in general in the sport, like ones where like it's really intense. It's not just like 90 minutes of nothing. But maybe there's actually something to the sport that I'm missing.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. So let me see. What's the time at? Okay, so we're at like. Wait, did you quit talking or did you cut out? Just making sure.
No, I quit talking.
Okay,
No, no worries, man.
okay. I just didn't want to like interrupt you if you cut out. But so yeah, we're at like 22-ish minutes, so we obviously don't want to keep this too long. But is there anything else you want to say before we end it?
I'm honestly good, man. This was like such a good talk. I didn't even realize it had been 22 minutes. I just like got so invested into it.
Yeah, I know. Like, like normally it's like time flies. Like when we were having fun. Like normally I was like, yeah, I don't know how long these will take. Hopefully they'll get to at least 15 minutes. And normally they end up taking longer than 15 minutes because we're like, if the conversations are fun, we're talking about what we enjoy and stuff. So
Yeah, this is like the only other interview I've done. Like I did one for a job recently, and obviously I got the job. It was pretty nice. But I'm
nice.
not really like the best type of person for interviews and that kind of stuff. Like I try to speak as much as I can, but sometimes I like ramble. I don't know if I did it during this as well, but like sometimes I just like try to speak and I just ramble, like just say a whole bunch of like scrambled words and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you did
this was
totally
fun though.
fine. Like, have you heard me try to word questions before? like, trust me, you did fine.
Nah, man, you it was all good. I watched some episodes. You did fine. I like every single one I've seen. You're all good, man.
Awesome, thank you. Well, I'm gonna do the outro now. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. Check out Zircone. His links and stuff will be in the description below. Remember to like, subscribe. If you want to see me reach out to any other mods, drop their names in the comments below. Also, I think I said this already, but like and subscribe, please. I'm desperate. But th-
So.
yeah. Well, thank you guys. See you in the next one.